Hey folks, so it's been a little over 48 hours with these Vision Pros, and I just wanted to talk about my experience yesterday picking them up, and are these things cool? Well, they definitely are. Let's check it out. So I wanted to start with the whole demo and pickup process, which was super smooth, and I definitely recommend everyone head on down to the Apple store when you can and try out these demos. You get about 30 minutes, you can ask a bunch of questions, you get to experience it with a kind of guided tour from an Apple store employee sitting right next to you. And taking the demo, this is when my mind started to really melt throughout the day. They have these really great spatial video examples, and you're watching content and media in this 3D space, and to a non-VR person like myself, it is just mind-blowing. For example, I now want to buy one of Canon's little 3D rigs and start shooting in this medium. It is that powerful, and I wonder if this is how directors felt when they saw a color film for the first time. It's just groundbreaking and different and so real feeling. That is what I'm really loving, watching these immersive films that Apple TV has out right now. There's only a few, but you feel like you're sitting right next to your subject, and I can't stop thinking about documentaries and how this is going to be such an insanely personal experience now that you can have with your subject. You get goosebumps watching this stuff, and you really experience the surroundings like never before. So anyway, after the demo, I was hooked. I got the Vision Pro back home, and I did a little live stream of the unboxing. You can check that out up here. And then I finally figured out how to stream the Vision Pros into a channel, and you can check that out up here. It's pretty much the raw feed from the Vision Pro's forward-facing camera coming through while I blather in amazement. You're going through the whole setup process. You put your hands out in front of you, you do the whole eye tracking thing. We've all seen it by now. And once you're in, you've got a few of your familiar apps ready to go on your home screen, and they're just kind of floating there in your living room. So you're a little dumbfounded seeing these floating icons. And now you start looking around, you start going through all the apps one by one, and it's just so new, and it feels like a whole different way to use a computer, but you have the familiar old Apple vibe, so you feel kind of at home still. And you're using your fingers just to click, and it's tracking your eyes so well. And in the accessibility section, you can turn on so many options for vision impairment. And if you see here, I'll show you this. I'll click on this tracking, and you can see where my eye is going now, and it's just jetting all over the place. So I really think this device is going to be groundbreaking for persons with disabilities. You can just use your eyes to click around. You can get on FaceTime, use Siri to speak to you or for you if you want. So after these two live streams, which were a good 3 hours of use, I finally killed the battery, and when I took them off, that's when I could really feel how strained my eyes were from using this. But when you're in there, everything looks super crispy and vibrant. They're coming with 11,500,000 pixels for each eyeball. Imagine the viewfinder on your DSLR. That's a Micro OLED. Same type of screen. Now imagine that little viewfinder 5 times as big. And that's what you have, these huge Micro OLEDs now for each eye, one for each eye. And the trippy thing is, this is just a big mask you're wearing. You can't see anything out when it's turned off. It's just a heavy sleeping mask. Cuts out all the light, and then you boot it up and you're just looking through these little cameras that are on the outside on these big screens. And that can be a little jarring as you're moving around. There's definitely some motion blur and some jiggle going on. And when you're in a dark room, that's when it kind of starts having some problems tracking your clicks, and there's lots of noise. And it's also present when you look at a really bright object, all that noise comes back. It's not that important because your apps are so bright and crispy, and you just move on to the next thing because there are really so many options in different ways and things to check out. All your stuff, all your notes are in there, all your photos are in there. I think this is the huge win for this device, that your whole Apple ecosystem blends in with this thing so easily. And let's not even get into panoramas and looking at your photos with this thing. It is incredible. It's like all of these old panoramas we've been shooting for years, now you can see them in their full glory, and it wraps around you. I mean, it's like, it is an insane experience. Spatial video from the iPhone kind of reminds me of some old GoPro quality, but it's in this 3D world and it's got this wraparound kind of view also. It's almost like this ghostly experience that you're having, and as you move around, you're seeing inside. It's like a little window to the past, which is really amazing for the evolution of cameras and video, that we just have this power now in our pockets, and those clips can live on for future generations. I mean, imagine all the old pictures of your grandparents when they were young and how cool it would be if you could look in there and see them moving a little, you know, move their world. I mean, you're really gonna feel these moments a lot more than just a static photo. So I think it's gonna get pretty cool, everyone. I'm pretty excited for this new medium. So just like staring at a computer screen for a good 6-8 hours, your eyes get tired, and these things, it feels like they tap into something elsewhere in your brain, probably the spot that lets you know your time and place in the world. That's your neocortex, especially your occipital lobe, which is responsible for processing all this vision coming in from your eyeballs. So I was just exhausted by the end of my first day. It could have been the whole wake up and pick up and live stream, get all these reactions to these new things. I'm a newbie to the VR world, but I'm a kid of the 90s, so I grew up on Lawnmower Man and the holodeck, and it's getting close. This is crazy tech, and it's finally getting here. And Lawnmower Man had these chairs that were hanging from suspension wires. Someone's got to make one of those chairs for the accessories section in Vision Pro's website right now. So I can tell this thing is definitely sparking new ideas and new inspirations. And the price tag of it at $3,500 is a tough pill to swallow, but give it some time. These things are going to come down a few $100 for Black Friday sale, or if you just want to go try and see it and see if you get hooked on it, be warned, once you put them on, you're kind of like, oh yeah, there's a crazy amount of tech going on in here, and I think everyone should check out that iFixit teardown also. You've got an M2 chip in here, which is insane, plus another equally badass chip with that R1, and there's going to be updates that are going to fix and iron out all these weird little bugs, but the one bug you cannot get rid of is the weight of this thing. It is pretty heavy, and I'm hoping that they're going to figure out a little bit better way to wear these things, at least for the next year, until the next version comes out, and maybe that'll be smaller, maybe that'll be a pair of glasses, who knows. Apple did the very Apple aesthetic thing with the metal and the glass, and it is a beautiful piece of tech. I don't know if you checked out the whole production process video they released. I mean, there's so much work that went into this thing, and that we can tap into now. All of us can learn how to make these apps for this thing and use them in 3D space, and we know these goggles are just going to get smaller till they are just implants or contacts we'll be wearing. We saw the writing on the wall this year at CES. Augmented reality glasses are coming very soon. And this new ecosystem that Apple is entering into hopefully is going to translate to that, or who knows what it's going to look like in the future. We could have those crazy Doc Brown wraparound glasses that everyone's wearing, or some weird things like Geordie LaForge. I know Hollywood has definitely been waiting for something like this where everyone can tap into their 3D environment and get their Minority Report on. So I'll be trying to go into a little more deep dive into the features, the camera, all that stuff. It's just so much, and I'm going to need a few days to really poke around on this thing. So wish my eyes good luck, and I hope to see you at the next video. Please hit that subscribe button if you want to check out some more Vision Pro and video content. Take care, folks.